Asalam-o-Alikum and welcome back. So our today topic is about the part of the previous two lecture, and that was the new classical school. So we already discussed in the history of economic thought about the new classical school, and now we will complete the third part of this lecture. So, first of all, I would say that thanks for being a part of this learning community, and I'm grateful for your participation, and it makes this lecture worthwhile. So, I appreciate your intention and engagement. Now, we will move toward the next part of this lecture, and that is the aspect of methodology. So, what is the holism versus individualism? We will discuss both of them one by one. So, methodological holism is a view according to which properties of individual elements in a complex are taken to be determined by relation they bear to other elements. So, methodological individualism, however, is a view that all social events must be explained as consequences of choice made by individuals and allow only individuals to be the decision maker in explaining social phenomena. So, accordingly, methodological individualism does not allow explanation which involve non-individualist decision-makers such as institutions. So, classical economic theories in general explain the social phenomena in terms of methodological holism. Their primary interests are social entities such as capitalist society. Moreover, classical economists developed their theory in terms of class such as landlord, workers, and capitalists, who contest for a larger share of the pie instead of abstract individuals. So in classical paradigm, the concept of class is more useful than individual agents in analyzing social phenomena. In this way, classical economy has roots in holism and accommodates social categories like class. So usually, the neoclassical economics is firmly grounded on a research program of methodological individualism, which generally posits that individuals with given preferences and endowments and firms with given technologies enter the market process as autonomous entities. For neoclassical economists, society is the collection of individuals. Individual wants, thoughts, and deeds combine to make society what it is. To understand an economy is then to make sense of the aggregate effect of individual wants and acts. So neoclassical theory does this by demonstrating how individuals maximize their material self-interest by utilizing their resources and the available technology in market transactions. Now, historical versus ahistorical. In classical economics tradition, historical analysis is called for and mathematical model and statistical investigations are of limited usefulness. So the classical economists have made consistent efforts to explain the rise of the capitalist mode of production in terms of historical analysis. So the classical theory of value would be limited to the goods and services that were typical products of competitive capitalism. So they regarded the explanation of this historical phenomena as their primary task. The starting point of neoclassical economics is the ahistorical individual. Therefore, the neoclassical theories are expressed in mathematical models which exclude the concept of history. This methodological feature arises from the fact that though the great themes of classical economy are dynamic and developmental, the great theme of neoclassical economy are static and educational. On value theory. So, in terms of explanation of what determine the value of different commodities, the different approaches have tended to distinguish two notions of value: the cost of producing the commodity reflected by the supply of it, are determined by the utility it gives a consumer and reflected in the demand for it. So the classical economists found value to be determined in production. They were not, however, very concerned about demand as determinant of value. So neoclassical economists view value in terms of the relationship between cost of production and subjective element called supply and demand. Generally, for neoclassical economics, the value of commodity is determined only by its subjective scarcity. For example, the degree to which people's desire for that a commodity exceed its availability. It is the marginal theory of value or subjective theory of value. Typically, the neoclassical answer to these value questions involve the specification and use of might be called market analysis. So markets are considered location or sites where value are determined.